Please help me welcome him.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. Actually, I'm the only thing standing between you and lunch, but so I'll try to keep it dynamic and interesting enough, I hope. So yeah, bear with me. It's the first time we're actually using this new deck, so I hope there won't be any surprises or anything like that. I'm here actually to tell you today about how we actually fundraising and philanthropy is being redefined by technology. And there's going to be another session later on with Michele right there, where I'll be talking more about in this part of philanthropy using data and how we can do amazing things like offsetting and things like that. So today I will be focusing on our major project so far, which is a stake pool. I'll tell you more about it. I'm Alvaro Cosi, as you heard about it. The name doesn't say it. I'm actually from Geneva, so with a Spanish mother. And what actually this says is like I come from a very multicultural background with stories of forcibly displaced people in my generations as well. So that's something that really was important for a lot of people. Like, how can you do impact with today's technology? I'm part of Switzerland for UNHCR. So as you can see it over there, the Switzerland 4 is super important, not only because I'm very proud of coming from such an amazing country, but also for the fact that we're a kind of a spin-off joint venture foundation, Swiss foundation, from UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency. And that means a lot because we can actually work as a kind of a sandbox to try and fail and learn and do things before we actually scale it up. So the UN doesn't get like too nervous, and given the times, it's a good thing. So here we are. I don't know where we are actually. Here we are. Okay. So you probably heard it in the news everywhere. We're facing quite a few challenges, and so we work for the UN Refugee Agency, which is taking care of refugees. What is a refugee? It's someone who is fleeing their home because of persecution or war. So as soon as they cross a border, they are defined as a refugee. When they stay within the borders of a country, they are defined as an internally displaced person. So it's same mandate, same protection with different like outcomes and different things we can actually do for them. Three big challenges, main ones. If you thought that the US are the only ones cutting funds, you're wrong. Actually, we do that too in Switzerland. People are getting nervous everywhere. So funds are being diverted to other priorities. And that's actually one of the results is here. Another thing going badly for us is the fact that the number of people forcibly displaced around the world is increasing exponentially. So I remember like speaking about these projects a few months ago, or even year, and the main issue was, well, you know, we've got like more people we need to serve, but the budgets are actually staying the same. Now I'm coming to you here, talking to you, actually it's about budgets are being cut, not even like staying the same. So third big challenge is what we call earmarking. So if you don't work in philanthropy or fundraising, you might never have seen this, but earmarking is super important. I'll give you a very straightforward example. There is a correlation between mediated crisis and the fund we get. So if you, let's say you get funding for Ukraine a lot, and all of a sudden you have like this area where you need even more funds and they get less funds, well, you cannot spend what you received for Ukraine in another country. So what you're seeing here is actually that the unearmarked is the small green part there. That's the only thing we get for countries that are less mediated or less, let's say, talked about. So the issue when you work for an organization like the UN Refugee Agency is that we're not like really an organization that goes like, that only goes to places where crisis hit or war. We also stay behind when the country is not in the media anymore, because we manage refugee camps, we make sure that the refugees' rights are respected. So what happens when you don't talk about it? Like think about Central African Republic, think about Congo. I mean, Sudan now it's a bit better, unfortunately, because things are going bad again there. But so lots of countries where we're present don't get funded at all. So we need to fund them, and we don't know how to do that. I mean, we know, but we do whatever we have. But it's my colleague, so let's. So I'm senior innovation lead, and what did we come up with is actually one of our ideas that came up like I think 2 years ago with the Cardano Foundation, which essentially, you know, I told you about these sandbox things that tries to avoid making my bosses nervous at UNHQ. And we pretty much, you know, they told me don't do crypto. No, that's bad. Reputationally, it's risky and all that. And we say, okay, let's try to do crypto without doing crypto. That was the basis of the briefing. And how did we do that? By actually creating a stake pool together with the Cardano Foundation, which back in the days, actually proof of stake, great for us. You know the difference between proof of work, proof of stake. So better sustainability-wise, better reputationally. And we said, let's open like a stake pool. You operate it by a financial actor called Taurus, and we don't hold any crypto. People can delegate their cryptocurrencies and give us the rewards that are generated through the proof of stake process. So this opened the way to a new idea, new, let's say, product, fundraising product, which was either you can direct stake, like meaning people delegating their funds, and it pretty much generates interest or rewards for us that are then sent on a monthly basis in Swiss francs. So I'm not doing any crypto anywhere. Or actually done it to stake. We can also receive funds that will be pledged and actually staked in our stake pool. So two different things. So reward allocation was also quite straightforward. 80% was most pressing refugee needs and 14 underfunded countries, so the countries I was telling you about before, and 20% towards innovation funds. UNHCR is developing innovation funds, and we say that 20% of that was actually, funny enough, earmarked towards those funds. Today, that's where we are, with a bit more than 6 million ADAs delegated from 207 wallets. So that's something I'll get back to as well. It means also 207 donors that we usually never speak to. So that's also an interesting fact. And it's not there, but we generated around 340,000 ADA so far in less than 2 years. So for us, it's very interesting. We're in the process of scaling it up. As I was telling you, we're testing things. Now we can actually, it's okay to hold a little bit of crypto, to start trying new things and explore and innovate. And the interesting thing about this is really about ADA, and Cardano allows you to actually keep people in control of their funds. So that's a big plus as well in terms of, FINMA, financial institutions, because if we get out of Switzerland, which we're actually doing, scaling up this project, that's something very important. The fact that they're always in control, they can take it away, they can put it back, that's super important. The sustainable impact, I'll get back to this afterwards as well. We're also building, you have to imagine that we're building, this project is kind of a centerpiece, and we're building like all around other parallel projects that are actually linked to that. And traceability obviously is one of them. So here, you can hear more this afternoon if you come at 2 p.m. after lunch. Cost-free assistance, again, it's something I started actually my career in advertising. So I like a little bit of taglines and stuff like that. And the first tagline was stake instead of donate. It didn't work, but it was fun. So it was a little bit like the continuation of this, explain a bit more like institutionally, like cost-free assistance, doesn't cost anything. Okay, how do we spend it? Emergency shelter materials, clean water access, educational supplies, infrastructure and medical assistance, and other more, I would say, boring but very important jobs, actually. And often it's my comms colleagues will probably be nervous if they hear me talk like that, but it's a fact. When it's also like the mediation part. Is the crisis in the news? Is it not? Is it? A lot of the times you see humanitarians, you think about, the old bag of rice, helping kids, things like that. Well, actually, one of the most important things we do at UNHCR is actually providing people with an ID. Like a small card that allows them to actually cross a border and get services. So that also requires funds, but it's less, for some people, it's not as at least not media. Something we're developing right now is actually a dashboard for you to see exactly how actually we spend the funds, how much you've been generating in terms of rewards. and also for us to be able to actually engage with donors. And that's an aspect of this project that we like more and more, is the fact that we can actually engage with more donors, and the donors that we usually never speak to, new audiences in other countries as well, and also younger audiences. If you live in Switzerland, and it's probably not the case of everyone here, you get that typical like envelope every Christmas time that pretty much nobody opens. That's the formal way, and it's still 96% of the way that people donate today in terms of individuals. So my parents do that. When they were my age, and I'm 43, they were doing it. I'm not doing that. I mean, and I know less and less people doing it. So that means that we're facing like a market problem, that with like an audience, like a target audience that's actually decreasing year on year, because unfortunately these people are dying. So how do we renew that spaces? So we can't afford not to come up with new ideas and explore and test new things. As I was telling you, this is a centerpiece, and we tried other things as well to engage with the audiences. So for us, NFTs, it wasn't really about selling, about making money out of it. It was more an engagement one. And what's fantastic about, in particular, the Cardano Foundation, I mean, the Cardano community, is the fact that as soon as you were saying, okay, I'm looking for interesting projects, I mean, people are getting super motivated, and we're super happy about, having like an organization like ours being, like active in the community. So we got like amazing project, like a mapping project of areas where we're active. So it was like an educational project as well. You can see like on a map. We even had the typical profile picture, goats, collaboration. We did an exhibition at Art Basel on the right, which was, like based on the numbers of refugees in each country being buildings. And the first one that you have on the left is actually an AI-generated with a simple, not a complex prompt that by an artist saying, okay, what the world will look like without displacement. Taking as an example of every underfunded country, like the major underfunded countries. So that's one of the results. This one is actually Iran. So. Last but not least, and you can recognize me there, that was last week. That's a little bit more, when I was telling you about not scaring my leadership at UN, things like that. Well, that was a little bit scary for them, because, that's a little bit of a personal satisfaction in particular, because I come from Switzerland. It's bringing cowbell within the UN building. So, bring a bit of Swissness into it. Which got, as you can imagine, you can see the UN security there. When they opened the box and saw that it was a cowbell, they say, okay, what is this? What are you doing? What's happening? And actually, it's, maybe you recognize it, but it's the Swiss stock market bell to officially launch an ETP, which is a first. And again, thanks to our partner Cardano Foundation and Issuance Swiss, we tried a new thing, which was during a conference. I'm talking conference with permanent missions, and whether the US, Switzerland Confederation, academia, and everyone, we say, you know what? Let's celebrate a new, innovative way to fundraise. At least we're trying something new by launching officially a new ETP live during the conference by ringing the bell. And yeah, that rings, and the sound is super, super loud, I confirm. And how does it work? It's the collateral of the ETP being staked on our stake pool. So that's a new product launched last week. And yeah, we're looking for more and more, and we're working on other ways to actually explore new ways to support the refugee cause. Thank you. I don't know if you have questions. That'd be it. Yeah.
Where's it going? What's next?
Oh.
Where do you want to grow this?
Okay, so where, location? But actually, I can tell you both.
In which directions? Which other products? How is it going to expand? Are you going to new chains with delegation? I'm imagining you're full of ideas.
Yeah, so the difficult part now is obviously with the budget cuts, everything is frozen. Meaning, if I want to do something, I have to do it on my own, or find super partners. Hey, here, Sandro. So that's the difficult part, because I'm quite hyperactive, and I like to really work on a lot of things. And then at home, people are getting mad. The kids, 3 years old and 7-year-old, if you see what I mean. So, but what is so we're trying to focus on things that really make sense immediately in a way. So we're scaling this up. and we tested it as a potential B2B solution, something that institutional and private sector, like we're talking about companies, can offer to the clients. So think about digital asset holders like big banks. And so far, we started like really reaching out to them last week as well. And the first result we're getting are super interesting. We're talking about, cannot mention, but we're talking about big actors who really, I was like, okay, I thought they were quite having cold feet with that, but the guys are like, okay, we're venturing to this, we're interested in this, and actually, this makes sense. The ETP and the stake pool, because for individual clients, but also actually for institutional partners. So that's super encouraging. So we're continuing in that way. We're expanding geographically. So we have areas of the world, as a UN agency, the issue is that some countries are more favorable than others regarding cryptocurrency or blockchain. We are definitely in a great place because it's a transparent and clear legal framework in Switzerland, so we can do a lot of things. When you go to other countries, and as a UN agency, you're everywhere, people are less that comfortable with. So the next step right now is really going to those countries where actually you have also a kind of a clear framework and expand the stake pool reach. So that will be, so you have the geographically, you have the product expansion. And then, yes, we also did some parallel projects. We worked with launch nodes and launched a stake pool. No, we didn't launch a stake pool, but you're actually able to stake for impact on ETH as well. We just launched this. And obviously, we're also developing other projects that allows you to donate, to stake, to also track your donation, things like that.
Thank you so much, Alvaro. We actually got to help launch one of his NFT projects with the UNHCR at Decentral House in Geneva just last year, which was really fun to see all the activity around that as well. So we're always excited to see what you guys are coming up with next. And now, say thank you, Alvaro. Thank you so much.